B2B Tech Positioning, how to close your target buyer without a product demo. And that's your target buyer in the C-suite. And quick caveat, this framework only works if your technology is extraordinary. Don't know, can't help you there. Sorry. Our goal, explain to win. Right now, your tech is amazing, but it's hard to explain. People don't always get it. You sell, but your sales cycle is longer than it should be, given how extraordinary your technology is. You do get deals, but it takes too long. We're going to fix this right now. Let's go. Do this. So here's how to close your target buyers in the C-suite without a product demo, like the first time you meet them at a conference. You have to make it logically impossible for your target buyer to say no to your technology. If you get this right, as I'm about to explain, you will land deals and sales opportunities at conferences or from the first moment you meet your target buyer, simply from saying your value proposition to your target buyer. As an example, one of my clients in the IT space landed a $300K plus deal as a 5-person team. And they landed this deal with a Fortune 50 company because they mentioned their value proposition to someone at a conference. That's where it started. To do this, your value proposition has to prove to your customer 3 things. Write this down. It has to prove your technology is better, faster, or easier than what they're doing now, meaning if they change nothing, it has to be better than what they're doing now. 2, it has to be better than any alternative they know, meaning the options on their short list, your competitors, other competitors you may not even know of, other options, other ways of solving the problem that are floating out there in the ether. You have to prove that your product is better than all of that. And number 3, you must prove that your technology is better than any alternative they can hypothetically imagine. And this one is really important. It means they cannot think or imagine a way of solving the problem that is better than what you are offering. So those are the 3 criteria. And your value proposition cannot claim all 3. It can't just promise all 3. You have to actually prove all 3 to your target buyer using your target buyer's logical standards and the concepts the concepts that they know and understand. And you have to do this in the first conversation, whether it's a conference, a phone call, an email, whatever. You have to do it fast. If you meet all 3 of these criteria, your target buyer will be sold immediately. As an example, again, one of my clients in the IT space landed a Fortune 50 company, and he did this, landed a deal with a Fortune 50 company, and he did this because he mentioned his value proposition to someone at a conference. And his value proposition met all 3 of these criteria. And that person happened to be someone in the C-suite at the company he ended up getting the deal with. And here's the thing, nobody does number 3. Yes, number 3 seems like a high bar, but here's what happens when you don't prove it. People are out here running around with value propositions that only prove criteria 1 and sometimes maybe criteria 2. And that's why your sales cycle is so long. If you only prove criteria number 1, then your prospect is thinking, yeah, it's better than what I'm doing now, maybe, but your tech is expensive and risky and untested, and I've never really heard of it. I'm going with an alternative that I just trust more. That's what they're thinking if you only prove number 1. And they won't tell you this. This is just what happens. Now, you only prove number 1 and number 2, which is what most people do, then your prospect is thinking, yeah, but your tech is expensive and risky and untested. And maybe there's an alternative I can find that I can think of or imagine that will work just as well and be a better option. So they still have a way to wriggle out of being sold on what you're offering. Now, if you prove number 3, which, by the way, includes number 1 and number 2 as subsets, then mentally and logically, there's nowhere for your prospect to go because they literally cannot imagine any alternative solution better than your technology, because that is what criteria number 3 does. It removes their ability to even imagine anything better, meaning faster or easier than what you are offering. And so it would not make logical sense for them to say no to your technology. So they don't. And when this works, here's how you'll know. You will say your value proposition to your prospect at a conference or on a phone call or in a conversation at your industry networking event, and they will immediately say, how? How in the world does your tech do that? Then they will pepper you with a storm of questions. If you've never had this happen before, you are in for a treat. They will drive the conversation. Just answer their questions, explain anything and everything they ask to know. Congratulations. If you've reached this point, you are in a sales conversation led by your target buyer. For example, when we fixed his value proposition, one of my clients with a $75,000 solution saw his sales pipeline increase by 15x. And all he did was change how he explained his offering to his target buyer so that it proved all 3 of these criteria to his buyer immediately. One of my clients landed a sales opportunity with a $1 billion tech company because someone else mentioned his value proposition on a phone call. The person at the other end of the line was so amazed that they asked for a meeting with my client, who had no idea that the phone conversation was even happening. This works. Got it? Okay, do it. Do it today. Do it now. If you want to work with me, go to the link in the description to book a 2-hour viral proposition workshop. In 2 hours, we create your viral value proposition or viral proposition that will close your target prospects in the C-suite at the first conversation before and without a product demo so that you accelerate your sales cycle, but only if this is something you want. Okay, have a great day.